It's recording, can I go?
Yeah.
All right. Hey. Hey. Tampa.
The lights just went off.
So the lights just turned off, but I'm here in Tampa, Florida right now. You know, there was the big sign saying Tampa. And what I thought I'd do with this video here, similar to the previous one, is include a segment from tonight's seminar. Okay, now, once again, it's a dating seminar. However, things got a little deep, you know, in terms of the content, a little serious, and no matter who you are, okay, old, young, woman, man, no matter who the fuck you are, I am sure, and I can guarantee, that you will get a lot out of this video here. Enjoy.
No, you're right. I'm extremely introverted. Like me naturally, extremely introverted and shy. You know, like back in the day, and I made some videos on YouTube about this, like I couldn't even talk to an old lady and ask for the time. You know, like like that's my core, if you will, and I've expanded upon that, as you said. So.
You never imagined yourself expanding upon it like that?
Oh no. Me living my life, and I'll kind of link it to my story. Like, my life before the game was a life of walking on eggshells, if you will. You know, it's like whatever I did, I was always in a way self-conscious and more so paranoid of like, what will people think of me if I do this? What if I do this? Oh, is this okay? Am I doing it right? And just constant, like, you know, that refrigerator humming sound, just like of anxiety inside of me nonstop. You know, and funny enough, a lot of us have this, but we just don't realize it, or we take it for granted. You know, if you want to get a little woo-woo here, everyone just sit up and close your eyes. Okay, just, you know, let's just fuck it. Let's do it. Close your eyes and go inside your body. Okay, and I want you to notice just how you feel. Okay, if there's any, you know, let's just say anxiety, if there's any worry, you know, maybe even just on a micro level, you're worrying about like what you'll experience here. Maybe you're worried about what you're going to have to do after the seminar. Maybe you're going to have to wake up early tomorrow. Maybe you're worried about work. Maybe you're worried about a task you've been putting off that you should have done, you know. And here you are when you could be doing that task for the next 2-3 hours. And I want you to view this not from a subjective perspective, but I want you to view it as if, say you took some complete stranger and he was in your body right now, and he was feeling what you're feeling, and he had to rate how comfortable he felt being, quote unquote, inside you, if you will, on a scale of 1 to 10. Like someone else is experiencing what you're feeling, would they feel 100% at ease, 10 out of 10, or would there be a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of stress, maybe a little knot in your stomach, whatever it may be? Open your eyes. I doubt you were all a 10 out of 10 at ease, 100%. Okay, and again, no one ever is a 10 out of 10. You'll go through periods of it, but you'll never reach 100%. But for me, back in the day, I was probably a 3 out of 10 on average. And I didn't even realize it. For me, I'm like, well, I guess this is just how things are. You know, you take it for granted. It was really shit. And I found out about the game, actually, reading the book, The Game. Okay, like total random. I read the book, and the main thing I got from it was, I don't have to be this person. You know, it's like, holy shit, I can change who I am. Building on this infinite possibilities, I never saw a finished product. Like for me, even this road was endless. I'm like, shit, I could be better, but then I could still be better and better and better and better. And what I would say is never accept yourself as a finished product. Never. Ever, ever. You know, this is like an endless journey, if you will. But that's key. You know, if you want to, I have like a couple pictures. This used to be me. I love the contrast with this. What I love the most too, this picture, it's not so much the physical appearance, it's what do you think, like, again, what do you think I feel? What's the emotion that's projected here? At ease, comfortable?
It's a forced smile.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like trying to fit in.
Yes. I remember very clearly. It was at a CD signing, if you're familiar with the band Jimmy Eat World, the singer's there. And I remember I got my CD signed, my buddy's like, dude, you should take a picture. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. And he pulls out the camera, and very clearly I'm like, oh shit, okay, what pose should I do? What's the cool thing to do for this picture? And I told myself, you know, you have to smile. And I hated smiling in pictures. But it's like, yeah, you have to smile. If you don't smile, that's pathetic. It's try hard. But you can't smile too much because that's too try hard as well. And most guys who are comfortable, they'll show a little bit of teeth, but not too much teeth. So I guess like this, and what's the end product? Just me be like that's really the feeling. You know, some more showed pics here. Like, It's always like, is this good? Am I doing it right, basically? You know? And that was me before the game. You know, and funny enough, like, there were many leverage points getting into this. One was, of course, women. But the other big ones were self-expression. Like, I was never able to put myself out there before the game. You know, I played guitar since I was 8, so I didn't manage to channel it in a way. But for me, my first open even was just like, it was like the gates opened, if you will. And then I got hooked on that. You know, like that's what I live for. Even in these seminars here, it's self-expression. So that was a big one. And the other big one that kind of encompasses all is just being at ease. You know, it's like you're just, a lot of people are just never at ease. I was never at ease. And now I am a hell of a lot more than before. You know, I could never just, like, even here sitting giving the seminar, I'm just like, I mean, do I look tense or stressed or anything? No, I could be sitting here. I could be in my room by myself. That's how comfortable I feel. And once you reach that, you know, it's kind of like core confidence, if you will. And you can just be at ease wherever you are. Just that relief is like 100% worth it. You know, and the relief of feeling at ease and the relief of also quieting down the internal mental torment that we all have. You know, it's like even within gaming girls, if you go out and who here, when they go out, the nights like a real fucking grind, and at the end you're just exhausted, and sometimes you have to go home early because it's so exhausting, or even negative, or just you beat yourself down. Raise your hand. I mean, once in a while, but I'm sure everyone fucking experienced this, okay? And and what you'll notice is it's not even what happens, it's the mental torment. It's like you can go out, you'll see a girl, and here's your option. Okay, I can say hi to her, and is it really that bad to go up and say hi? Objectively, no. But what tires you? Should I do it? Should I not do it? Come on, man, you can do this. You told yourself you would do it. Oh, fuck, you suck. You're not doing this. Come on. That shit, back and forth, the debate kills you. And I remember even me finding out, starting to go out in the beginning. I would go out like for a couple hours during the day, too scared to go out at night, and not talk to anyone. And at the end, just go back like, like dead because of that internal debate. And then when you don't take action, you beat yourself down. You're like, you pathetic, you suck, like that. And that's what kills you. And we have this with girls, but also just in life. It's like there's that little fucking mental torment. If you can just quiet it, God, life is way easier, okay? So there was that. And then another big one, and this is actually something I wanted to touch on, was just that sense of freedom, I would say. And that's a big one. This is something actually my buddy talks about a lot too back there. And there's this book, and I thought I'd just read a couple paragraphs of it, and I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't. It's called How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World. Okay, it's by Harry Browne. And he starts off the book, and this is the first paragraph, and literally everyone can resonate with this. And he starts off saying, freedom is the opportunity to live your life as you want to live it. The urge for freedom is so much a part of human nature that it can never be suppressed by laws, slogans, or commandments. There's a difference, however, between the urge and the reality. For most people, freedom remains a pleasant fantasy, you know, something to dream of while carrying out daily obligations in the real world. You know, most people spend their lives talking vaguely of what they want in life, what they think they're missing, why they don't have it, and who it is that prevents them from being free. For most people, freedom is an if only. You know, if only it hadn't been for my wife, you know, I would have been a success. Or if only, you know, here what he writes down, it had been for Roosevelt or Nixon or whoever, the country would be free. The unfree person can never fully repress his urge for freedom, whether he considers his jailer to be his family, his job, society, or the government. And so from time to time, half-hearted attempts are made to break free from the restrictions. But unfortunately, those attempts usually depend on the individual's ability to change their minds, the minds of other people, and so optimism eventually turns into frustration and despair. And funny enough, just this little bit here probably reminds you a lot of just even game. You know, it's like we all have this vision of, say, who we want to be. We all do, like an ideal of yourself, like if only I could do this, if only I could talk to girls, if only I could actually pursue my dreams, pursue my bliss, if you will. Yet do you do it? Not really. You know, and we can really view it like we all pretty much live a life of slavery in a way. You know, slavery to, say, other people or what other people think of you. Huge one. You know, it's like we're slaves literally to the thoughts of others. We're scared of being criticized. We're scared of what people think of us. If you weren't, you'd feel completely at ease going up and talking to strangers. You go out, you see a girl, main thing that scares you, what are people going to think of me? Or even worse, you're a slave to your own thoughts. What are you going to think of yourself if you get rejected? What's that little voice, that little chatterbox, if you will, in your mind going to say? You know, how are you going to view yourself? You're a slave to circumstances, a slave to your job, and that's a lot of people. Okay, you know, like this is something I reflect on all the time. This is something I reflected on even getting into the game and even pursuing the job I do now. Is what do I want to do? Like, what is, if I was truly free and nothing was holding me back, what the fuck would I do? You know, and the best question, and I wrote this down. There's a quote from, you find it. It's Deepak Chopra. He says, if you had all the money and all the time in the world, what would you do? And that's like the best way of viewing everything. You know, it's like if you have an infinite amount of money, infinite amount of time, infinite resources, what the fuck would you do?
You already went on vacation and gave someone away. What would you do? Right? That's what I asked you.
Yeah. I even do this when I go out. If you know 100% at the end of the night you're going to fuck a 10, your ideal girl, you're going to meet her, and you can either sleep with her, you can build a relationship, you can do whatever you want with her, what would you do during the night out? Because even during a night out, you're a slave to that need of trying to get the girl. And you'll see guys, like, with their wings, they can't even joke around with each other because they think they're wasting time. They're like, oh shit, I could be talking to him, but I got to get the girl. A slave to that getting the girl, if that makes sense. So I really view it like detention, you know, if you want to get a little deep. It's like a night out, it's like you're there. At the end, you assume you're going to get the girl, but you're stuck there until then. What do you want to do? You're stuck in detention. You can't leave. You can do whatever you want to make it an awesome experience. You can fuck around, chat with some girls. You can fuck around with your friends. You can stand still, do nothing. You can torment yourself mentally. There's all these different options. What are you going to choose to do? And funny enough, if you want to take it on a more, say, elevated level, it's the same thing with life. At least this is my perspective on life. It's you're here until you die. You know, there's that saying, no one gets out of here alive. Whatever you accomplish during this lifetime, you're not taking it with you. However money, you know, how much money you make, you're not taking it with you either. Whatever reputation you have, whatever people think of you, you're not taking that with you. You may even leave a certain legacy behind. You know, if you believe in like leaving a legacy, and this is something I believed in for a long time. You know, for me it was like legacy, like build my name, build the brand. It's all about legacy. But guess what? At some point the sun's gonna explode, the world's gonna explode, and your legacy is gone. Funny enough too, who gives a shit what people think of you once you're dead? Do you care? Like, people will remember my name. What does it matter? You know, following the trail of why, what the fuck does it matter? It doesn't matter at all. So why do it? Why not? That's really it. It's like you're here for a certain period of time, and you're dead. You can choose. You can check out early. You can do nothing. You can accomplish stuff just to accomplish them. It's like, what will make it a better experience? That's what drives me in life. That's why I do this. Like for me, what makes my life a better experience, seeing how far I can go. You know, seeing how far I can like go in terms of reaching my potential, helping people, sharing. Just the fact of helping people and sharing, you know, helps other people, but also makes me feel good. The act of giving, if you will, makes it a way better experience than just sitting there and doing nothing. And everyone knows this deep down inside, and I'm 100% sure you can all resonate, but we just really repress it and block it off. Any of you guys see the movie Into the Wild? Were you inspired watching that movie? Okay, like no one ever does it, but you really think like, damn, that would be sick. Just to leave everything behind and just fucking go into the wild. Okay, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Just that sense of like freedom, everyone is turned on by it. Okay, and funny enough, this is even in a way what we do with game. You know, of course there's the girls, but what are you also doing? You're snapping out of social conditioning. It's your way of revolting, if you will, against all those constraints that society imposes on you. It's like you're doing your own thing. You're snapping out of it. You're snapping out of groupthink. You're going up. You're putting yourself out there. Even gaming in and of itself is freedom. It's like that's the situation in which you can truly express yourself. When, other than that, could you put yourself out there? At your job, not really. There's too many repercussions. You say the wrong thing, you're fired. You're always monitoring, you know, what you're saying. It's like, What will people think of me if I say this? What's the impression I'm giving off? Even with your family. I guess with your family you could be a little bit more real, but there's a lot of drama and tensions there. When you go out and picking up girls, and you open a girl and you're on point, and you see those anime eyes when her eyes like light up, and you've all seen it, she's like, and you really have her full attention. That's the high you all live for. That's the high I live for. That's better than sex. Sex is awesome, of course, go for it. But this here, like having someone's full attention, and you're literally in a position where it's like, I can do or say what I want. You know, as long as it's coming from a place of good intentions, as long as you're not breaking any laws, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can say whatever you want. And that's the high. You know, now funny enough, it's the high, but it's also what stifles a lot of people. A lot of people are so used to not being in touch with this freedom that they freeze. And this is a big one with what do I say or what do I do next? It's like you can do whatever you want, but there's too much choice, and you're so conditioned to do this, do this, do this, like following the script, following what people tell you to do, you lost touch with that full-on expression. It's like you could talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about, but there's too many options. So in a way, even gaming is getting back in touch with that freedom. And that's why it's addicting. That's why even me, I'm still engaged to this day. I love going out. I love talking to girls. I love talking to everyone because it's me putting myself out there. Okay, and even the fact that you're sharing who you are, that feels awesome too, you know? And you're acting through your own intentions, and that'll translate in every area of your life. You know, it's like not being, I'd say, repressed in a way. Not being repressed by society and not being repressed by yourself. A lot of psychology, or even in the pickup industry, it's focused on the don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, if you will. It's basically getting you from negative to zero. It's like, you're down here, stop fucking up, don't do this shit. But there's not that much that goes from the zero to the positive. You know, and funny enough too, that's the shit that sounds a little even cheesy. Like a big one is, as you mentioned, is gratitude.
Right.
Or giving yourself props. And everyone thinks this is cheesy. Like even if I tell you, when you do well, actually tell yourself, you did well. Like what's your name?
Sebastian.
Tell yourself, Sebastian, you did well. It's super cheesy. You're like,
It feels good when you do it though.
and that's the key.
But I think people don't want to feel good to a certain subconscious degree, maybe. So you train
I think so too. Even the fact, like, because even I have the inkling. Like, ever since the whole, like, I'm sure you saw this, the whole, like, media scandal that happened. Me and Owen, like, we've been doing a lot of spiritual work. And it's a lot of, like, energy cleansing, if you will. It's a form of meditation, but not really meditation. And there's so many takes on this. Again, infinite amount. But what the guy we work with says is he likes meditation, but he views it more so as taking a vacation from your problems. Or when you meditate, yeah, you feel good. You do your 20 minutes meditation, you kind of, you're still. But then when you end, you go back to the bullshit. Yeah. It's still there waiting for you when you're done. So what he says is nothing changes until energy moves. And there's a lot of breathing, focus, visualization, and intention and stuff. And it's kind of like this guided process. And at some point he tells you, he's like, you know, let go, say, of control. You know, let go of seeking approval. Look at all the areas in your life in which you're looking for approval. Stop judging yourself, and that's a big one. And then he's like, and start approving of yourself. And when he gets to that section, I remember the first time too, I was like, oh, this is so cheesy. Like I was even thinking, I was like, this is so pathetic. And he even makes you say it. He's like, say, I approve of Julien. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I approve of Julien. Like that was so bad. But that's the shit you gotta do. You know, it's like that's the cheesy shit that gets you to that positive, you know? And being grateful too. There's this guy named Nathan Otto, and he talks about he talks about many things, but one of the things he talked about that really resonated with me is sufficiency, and whatever you think is, let's just say, your criteria of sufficiency. So in terms of being, say, grateful, like everyone has this. Like we're always chasing something. There's always something that's outside our reach that we think will make us happy. And oftentimes, we actually don't even need it. It's like we're just chasing it because we're so used to chasing something. So what he says is there's, let's just say we take money as an example. He says there's a certain level you reach, or let's say you go beneath a certain level, your attention is going to focus like, oh shit, I need to make money because I'm in a critical moment, let's just say. You're fucked. But then once you reach that level of sufficiency, you're good. And then you keep building, and then there's a level of too much, and then that fucks you up too, because then you're paranoid just as much as being poor of keeping the money. And that's super weird. And if you've made a lot of money, you've surely experienced it. Like, you don't have enough, you're broke, you make some, you're like, hell yeah, you're happy. And then you start making a lot, you're like, oh shit, and you care even more about money than when you were broke. But what he says is, we don't even know what that level of sufficiency is. We're just chasing more and more and more just because. And what he says is looking at your life at all, let's just say your values like money, health, whatever it may be, like your sense of comforts, and acknowledging what's sufficient or redefining what's sufficient. Like even in terms of comfort, like right now I'm doing this world tour, and I'm doing this tour, like for me this is a back to the roots, if you will, back to the basics. Like I'm doing a tour in this car, and I'm basically driving around America, and I'm with 3 other guys, and we're staying in one hotel room, all of us. Okay, so it's like it's full on just back to the basics. Like it's not a comfortable tour, let's just say. And we kind of rotate, like who's sleeping on, say, a blow mattress on the floor and shit. And of course, no one wants to fucking sleep on the floor, because you're like, the floor, and everyone's like, shit. But when you think in terms of level of sufficiency, if you really think like, what's the bare minimum I need to be comfortable, is the floor that bad? No. And once you define it, like as long as I have the floor, I'm good. Anything above that's a bonus, you feel fucking happy. You feel fully at ease, and it's just like a release of all that paranoia and stress. And we do that with everything. It's like, even the money. It's like, everyone, I'm sure, is still like, money, 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 money. Fuck, I am in a way too. But once you define, like, what's the bare minimum I need, and you set that number, and you actually take the time to sit down and acknowledge that that's the minimum to feel like that's the sufficient amount, you'll feel so much more at ease. And you do this in all aspects of life, and it just clears up all this mental RAM. Linking it back to freedom too, a big thing that clears up mental RAM is actually doing what you want to do. Because not doing it, the same as game, and this you've all experienced, you find out about the game, you're pretty much fucked. And I joke about this in some videos, like you've seen behind the curtain. You can't go back to how things were before, because you know that you could be a better person. But if you don't do it, what happens? You can try to rationalize your way out of it, but you always know deep down inside you could be better. And that'll burn you inside. And funny enough, the same with this whole freedom, or let's just say doing what you want to do. You know you could be doing something else, but if you don't do it, it'll also burn you inside. And this is like one of the main, at least in my opinion, one of the main reasons people are really unhappy. It just burns them, and there's that resentment. That resentment is the worst. Even in a relationship, that's the shit that kills relationships, resentment. That's what will slowly creep up on you. It's like you do something, and the other person resents you for it. And it could just be a little bit, but it just builds and builds with time. This is why even cheating. Like you'll see a couple cheat, and even if you can get the girl back, like let's say you cheat on a girl and you didn't manage expectations, she'll even take you back, but deep down inside she'll resent you a bit, and that'll build a time, and then it ends. And it's always linked back to that one little fucking moment. Just interesting, factor. But that's a big one, and again, since we're getting a little deep here, another one is, I'd say the things that hold us back is, I'd say it's a few things, okay? You all realize, again, like, yeah, I could totally do this, but what holds you back from actually doing it? One is not knowing about it, but now here you all know about it. You all know about game. You all know you could be pursuing whatever the fuck you want to pursue. The other is addiction to comfort. And if you want to take it further, it's more so fear of the unknown and fear of death, in a way. And there's another great book called The Denial of Death by Ernest Becker. And what he says is basically everything we do is trying to escape the fact that we're going to die. Everything. Even buying into different ideals. It's like you think that you can buy into an ideal, so the ideal is immortal in a way, and you try to escape it that way. But funny enough, even by, because that's what we're afraid of. It's like it's the unknown, and even death in and of itself, it's the ultimate unknown. Like we're not actually scared of death itself, like the event of dying. It's more so we don't know what the fuck happens after, at all. That's why you have approach anxiety too. It's not so much like you're scared of the girl rejecting you. It's like you're trying something new. You're jumping into the unknown. You don't know what the fuck will happen. And as human beings, linking it back to, say, caveman times, we, as a form of self-preservation, we always assume the worst. And you've all pictured this. You're seeing a girl, you're hesitating opening or not. Say she's with a guy. You're picturing like the worst case scenario of the guy like pulling out a knife and gutting you and everything. That's what's going through your mind. It's ridiculous. That happens with girls, but just in life too, And as I said before, it's like once you realize like you're gonna die, and a lot of it's like really sitting down and coming down to terms with the fact you're gonna die, that there links to actually just embracing the unknown and doing what you want to do. That's how you achieve freedom too. Like accept it. There's that saying like, how would you live your life if you knew that right now you had a disease that was gonna kill you? You'd probably do a lot of things differently, but guess what? You do have a disease that's gonna kill you. You're gonna die. We're all gonna fucking die. We are dying every second at a time. Realize that. Come to terms with it. You try to avoid it, that's when you actually live a life, a dead life, if you will. By avoiding it and trying to stay all comfortable and trying to preserve, that's a life of numbness and death. So take the risk. Do it in a smart way though. That's the big one. It's like don't just go into the wild if you're all inspired. Like, oh, I'm gonna go into the wild now. Like, no. Okay. Be smart. A book I always recommend is The Education of Millionaires. If you guys ever read that by Michael Ellsberg. He talks about the whole like pursuing your dream. And everyone has this. Like you have a certain dream you want to pursue, but guess what? You also got to do shit to survive. And it's kind of like making that transition so you can survive off your dream, but in a smart way. Okay. But those are some big ones. And another one too, just in terms of also just quieting that mental torment, is not being so scattered in your thoughts. And this is something that even pickup will do. It's like you go out and you start taking action, and in a way, taking so much action is a form of meditation. Like for me, pickup is freedom and stillness. It's like a martial art. It's like you're so into the moment that you're just fully focused on that and you become the moment. It's like if you've ever played a sport and you're just really into the game. Are you thinking about anything else? You don't even see the time that's flying by. You're just so into the fucking moment. Game does this too. And then you start getting in touch with that. For me, everything does this at this point. Like even a seminar like this flies by. And you'll see it. Like usually you'll see me in the beginning like, okay, hey, and then my mind turns on. Same with the game. I go out, hey, and then all throughout. And this is also how I'm never really tired. It's like even like the past 3 years, like this tour is a little different. This was actually really intense too, but I'm doing like 4 to 5 seminars a week, like every day. Like tomorrow, I leave at 9 a.m. for Miami. Boom, seminar in Miami, and I keep going. In the past, there were days where I would do this hot seat event where we'd show in field footage all day. And the way I would usually go is it would be Saturday, Sunday. So Friday night, I would have boot camp all night till like 5, 6 a.m., sleep a little bit, meet everyone at noon, do like a 2-3 hour debrief. We're breaking down the night. Then hot seat all day till 11 p.m., then go out again till 5, 6 a.m., meet at noon, do the debrief again, do the hot seat again, then wake up early, fly to the next city, so on and so forth. So it's literally like, I don't know, like 16, 18-hour days nonstop, like talking. And I would just see them fly by. Because I would just get into that moment of just taking action. Now that also comes to not resisting it. Okay, a lot of people try to escape work versus embracing work. And that's the same. It's like, you can talk to a girl or you can resist it. I could jump in and do that whole day of work, or I can resist it. Resisting it would kill me. If that entire day I'm like, oh, fuck, 16 hours of talking. Oh, fuck, oh, here I am. Oh, I'm talking. Oh, almost, I would die. Yeah, I wouldn't survive it. But just making that conscious decision of embracing it, you're good to go. And that's just a fucking decision. Same with going out. Just make the decision, like, take action. Even if you open and you just say hi, hey, and leave, mental torment's gone. Okay? So again, it's like wherever your mind goes. And building on that too, it's like don't get too scattered in your goals either. Okay, like everyone wants to develop their personality, develop their, like build up their personality, build up their finances, build up their health. It's like we have all these goals and we just try to do all of them and then we just end up slacking off in all of them. And in terms of focus, like select a few and just solely focus on that. And then switch to the next, so on and so forth. And funny enough, with game is self-help on steroids. There you go. You focus on game, it'll affect everything. And don't fall into the trap of avoiding it, because that'll happen too. Guys will do my favorite example is like improv. Do you think improv helps you round out your personality? They'll help you get girls? Yeah, obviously. Now what guys do is they understand that, and they're like, well, I'm just going to do improv first. It helps, moving me towards my goal of getting girls. Do you think meditation helps? Yeah. You know, I'm just going to meditate. Once I've mastered meditation, I'll do pickup.
Fuck that, do both, same time.
Even self-help. Oh, you know, I'm going to work on myself. Understand working on myself will help me get girls. And guys, you'll see actually even in RC, a lot of guys are massive, who here is into self-help? A lot. But then you'll see guys I'm just in it for the self-help thing. And then you ask them, well, do you have a girlfriend? No, but do you want a girlfriend? Yeah, but I'm just in the self-help thing. Just kind of avoiding that one thing. It's like, dude, just doing game, you'll learn so much about yourself.
And it creeps in your head too, but you know better. You know to do both.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like do the one thing, and then if you have time, do those as bonuses, because they do definitely help, but not a substitute of that one thing.
Gotta integrate it.
Yeah. So just some things to keep in mind.